My brother's famous bottom goes camping. Chapter 5. Who's taking what? We packed most of the van yesterday. It's got loads of cupboards and places to put things. It's really clever. The cupboard doors and drawers have special locks on them to stop them opening when we're driving along. The bed's packed down and turned into proper seats. The fridge even has an ice maker. We're going away for a week and I had to choose all the clothes and things I wanted to take. Mum helped Cheese and Tomato. Tomato wanted to take the wheelbarrow for Cecily Sprout, but Mum told her it was too big. Then Cheese carried Poop upstairs, put the hen in his bag and did up the zip so that just Poop's head was sticking out. "No," said Mum in her stern voice. Cheese scowled, stuck his hands on his hips and looked defiant for several seconds while he and Mum had a silent staring match. Finally, he unzipped the bag, lifted Poop out and went stamping back downstairs. There was something about the look on his face that made me think we hadn't seen the last of Poop. Meanwhile, Tomato was carefully packing her carrot. Cecily was wearing Barbie pyjamas for the journey. "I'm sure Cecily's going to love camping," smiled Mum. "She says she won't like it if it rains," Tomato warned. "It won't rain. It's going to be lovely and hot. Has Cecily got a swimming costume?" "Yes," nodded Tomato. "She's got a blue bikini and sunglasses, but she mustn't go in the sun too much in case she burns." Mum glanced at me and bit her bottom lip very hard to stop herself from laughing out loud. I guess we were both imagining a carrot with sunglasses, not to mention the bikini. Dad had packed 3 suitcases, and that was just for him. "What have you put in there?" quizzed Mum. "Scuba diving kit, inflatable dinghy, 5 pairs of trousers, 16 shirts, 8 jumpers, 3 jackets, 10 pairs of shoes, socks, underpants, pyjamas, slippers, toothbrush, books to read and the goat." Dad saw the look on Mum's face. "Just joking about the goat," he added quickly. "Well, I hope you're joking about the scuba diving kit and the dinghy and all those clothes too. We're only going away for a week. We're not moving house." Dad scratched his head. "Do you think it's too much?" "Of course it's too much. If we put all that in the van, there won't be any room left for people. You are allowed 1 case only, 1 small case." "What about the—" "Leave it," Mum interrupted. "If you have to ask, you obviously don't need it. I suggest you take 2 of everything." "Does that mean 2 shoes or 2 pairs of shoes?" "Of course I mean 2 pairs. Why would you only take 1 shoe? What's the point?" Dad shrugged. "I was just asking. Sometimes women say strange things." "That's probably because sometimes men do strange things," Mum shot back. "Especially in this house. Nicholas, how's your packing going?" Mum checked through my bag and nodded approvingly. "You'd better go and help your father," she suggested. "Thank heavens you're sensible." I grinned and went to help Dad. What this actually meant was that I stood on the bed and gave him orders while Dad held things up for my inspection. "Yes, no, that's my old teddy. Why have you got my old teddy?" Dad turned a deep red. "I like it," he muttered. "You'll have to leave it behind. No, yes, no. Dad, you've shown me your scuba diving kit 3 times now, and I've said no each time. I was hoping you might forget you'd already said no and say yes instead." "The answer is still no," I ordered. "Spoil sport," Dad complained, and so we went on. Mrs. Tugg has agreed to look after the chickens. She said that she's not going to tell her husband until we've actually gone, because otherwise he'll make a fuss. "He's never been fond of animals since he was a child," she confided to Mum. "His dad took him to the zoo. He was standing next to the monkey cage while his dad took a photo, and a monkey came up and pulled on his trousers and they fell down round his ankles." "Oh dear," laughed Mum. Mrs. Tugg was chuckling too. "I know, it was rather embarrassing, of course, but things like that seem to happen to him." I didn't get to bed until late, and even then I couldn't sleep. I was too excited. I have no idea what time it was when I eventually dropped off, but Cheese woke me up in the morning. Or, to put it another way, Poop woke me up. She was squawking loudly because Cheese was trying to stuff her into my bag. He was determined that the hen was going to go camping. "You can't put Poop in there," I said. "Mum will find out and she'll be cross. Poop can't come with us." Cheese stood there with Poop tucked under his arm, and they both stared at me in silence. Even the hen seemed to be looking daggers at me. Cheese stuck his thumb into his mouth and walked off without a word. We had a quick breakfast, then loaded a few last things into the camper van. Mum gave the vehicle a final search. "What are you looking for?" asked Dad. "A certain small, brown, fluffy creature," hinted Mum. "You know how stubborn Cheese gets sometimes. OK, we appear to be without Poop. We can go." Brilliant. We were on the road at last, and our first camping holiday had begun. The van decided to celebrate by letting off an enormous farty bang, jumping in the air and dying on the spot. "Dad," I panicked. "It's all right, Nick, nothing serious. It's probably the carbo-petroleo-plug-a-doo bit." Mum fixed him with a steely glare. "You don't know what it is, do you?" "Yes, I do. It's the van." "Which bit of the van?" Mum demanded. A big bit," Dad ventured. He turned the key in the ignition once more. There was another huge bang. The entire van leapt in the air as if it had just been stung by a helicopter-sized wasp. The engine burst into life. We were off again. I can't wait to see the campsite.